Hey guys, Nick here, and today we will be seeing if Negan's backstory to Glenn will change Glenn into stopping him from becoming like Negan was, or if Glenn at this point is just not in the caring type to care about this at all and will kill Negan regardless. This is part 2 to What If Negan Killed Maggie the remake. Now, Glenn, after hearing Negan's backstory, is genuinely surprised now and half broken out of his rage because he wasn't expecting this villain who callously took his wife to have this kind of story. And as much as he doesn't want to care, his feelings and mutual respect for other people is coming back to him. Like the pizza guy, Glenn part of him from season 1, that's coming back. And the rage that he was feeling is generally starting to simmer down. But here's the thing. How much Glenn was around Maggie, how much he cared for her, how much he loved her, and the fact that his baby was taken from him, it's too much to bear. And he just cannot get that out of his head. So as much as he wants to accept this story, it's really, really hard. And the sadness and anger that he's feeling, it's almost like those feelings are coinciding with each other. And it's hard to pick one, to be completely and utterly heartbroken or mad or both. It's just too much. And eventually, only one feeling washes over Glenn's mind. Sadness. Completely heartbroken sadness. And eventually, Glenn drops Lucille, drops everything he has. Well, Lucille would be the only thing he has, and just breaks down sobbing. And this would be a really, really sad moment for fans if they were watching this, for Rick's people, and it's just a lot to take in. And Rick and everybody else, since the saviors are dead, are just all watching this go down, and Rick feels that it's his time to step up and do something or say something. And he walks up to Glenn and Negan, picks up the bat, walks up to Negan, gets a pair of handcuffs, cuffs Negan, and says that now that the battle has been won, at least here, they're all going to go back to Alexandria now, formulate a plan, but Negan, he's being locked up, and he's coming back. Now, wait a minute, what? There's probably a lot of you that are thinking, what? After all that, Negan's still getting spared? Really? And there might have been a hint of that, sure, because, you know, with what ifs, you gotta leave kind of a hint, but what? After all this, really? Now all the anger that everyone was feeling towards Negan is now attracted onto Rick in this very moment. And this is bringing a season 8 finale little kind of twist in. So this is a season and a half early. And Rick's people, everyone there, tells him to think about Abraham. Think about Maggie. Think about how much they meant to Rosita, Sasha, Glenn, especially Glenn. And it's like, he doesn't even care right now. And after all that, after Glenn breaking down especially, and after one pathetic sob story later, Rick just walks up, grabs the bat, doesn't even attempt to bash Negan's head in, and is now treating him like he did nothing wrong. He's just gonna lock him up. And it's like, oh well, just lock him up and everything will be okay. And pretend there's nothing wrong. La-di-da-di-da-di-da. Like, it's all wonderful. And it's like, huh? And there's probably a lot of you in the comments thinking the same thing. But Thankfully for you guys, and thankfully, well, kind of, for Rick's people, Rick default dances on that whole argument, saying that he's not letting Negan off easy just because he's sparing him. Negan is very well going to pay for the crimes that he's committed, not just to Maggie and Abraham, but to everyone that he has enslaved or killed. He's going to be locked up for a long time, and he means that, because Rick was a man of his word. Now, he's not going to lock him up forever, but he is going to lock him up for a long time, to make him truly understand how much their people, Maggie and Abraham, meant to them, especially Glenn. And he looks at Glenn when he says this to mean his sincerity. And Rick points his python straight at Negan, saying if Negan has any objections to this, or if he thinks that Rick is wrong for doing this, he's gonna just shoot him right here and now. Honestly, doesn't care what Negan thinks. He just wants to hear if Negan has any objections to this, because this is saving Negan. And Negan says himself that as much as he thinks he deserves to die for what he did to Maggie and Abraham, seeing especially how much these two people meant to them, he does want to be given another chance. And seeing how Glenn has basically almost turned into another version of him, he wants to do everything he can to prove that he's worthy of redeeming himself, basically. And Rick smiles at this and is glad that Negan is being compliant and understands the severity of what he did. And with that said, you guys are probably thinking, really? Really? Is that how we're going to end the story here? Is this just going to be Season 8 finale rehashed just with extra survivors? Because this is so late in the Walking Dead universe, you're making this what if, which I've done before. But that's it? Wrong! Because I said that this was going to be a full story. And if I ended it here, then that wouldn't make for a good story. So this story has just begun, my dear folks. And this is just the start of what's to come, especially with Negan being spared in front of Glenn, because that's going to have severe ramifications going forward. Now, as I said before, Negan is not getting locked up forever like Rick and Michonne were planning on it, even though he eventually got out. But he is getting locked up for a long time. Now, while this is going on, and after they put Negan in the cell, everyone who's able goes to Hilltop, the only known community at the time, because Carol and Morgan are still at the Kingdom, to spread the word and say that Negan and the Saviors have been dealt with for now. Gregory is not one to believe this, and because the sanctuary is still around, and Jesus would likely be the only one to know of this, but Gregory, not knowing, doesn't believe it, and even asks where Maggie is, because she's the one who made the deal about the half of stuff thing, and he's just genuinely curious as to where she is if the threat was taken care of. And he's honestly making a complete jerk of himself, to say the least. And, you know, it's just Gregory being Gregory. And Glenn being there and seeing full force what Gregory is like, because he was kidnapped, if you guys remember, by Dwight, is just not at all have any kind of patience for this guy. And the rage with Negan being spared catches up to Glenn, grabs a knife, and slits Gregory's throat right there and then, killing Gregory not only 2 seasons early, but definitely causing a lot of shock amongst everyone in the group, especially the Hilltop community, because nobody was expecting this. But when they really think about it, and if you guys really think about it, this is pretty much justified. This is what Glenn would do if Gregory started even the slightest notion of being a jerk, especially if Maggie was killed and Glenn was spared. And the group has to agree that Gregory kind of deserved this. And Glenn, what's going to happen with him? Will he really be able to be alright with Negan being spared? Or is the rage in him going to well up so much that it outcasts him from the rest of the group in just an effort to kill Negan? And will this get him killed in the process? And that's where we leave things for the moment. Hope that you guys enjoy the second part of the series. Definitely shorter than my first part, but I wanted to end the first part off with some awesomeness, to say the least. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed regardless, and with this second part, and I'll see you guys next time.